Alright, here we go, brace yourselves, because this isn't your average preview of a football match. This is Southampton versus Fulham, two teams whose fates are hanging in the balance. What's at stake? Well, a lot more than you think. We're talking about the fight for survival, the tension, the drama, and the little moments that will define this game. Now, before we dive into the strategies, the tactics, and all the juicy details, let's just pause for a second and think about how this game is more than just a typical mid-table clash. Sure, Southampton and Fulham might not be the heavyweights of the Premier League, but they're two teams whose future could depend on how they perform here. Southampton's been in a bit of a struggle this season, but they still have that resilience, that defense that's kept them in the race. On the other hand, Fulham have shown flashes of brilliance, but still need to prove they're consistent enough to challenge the top half. So, what's really going to happen here? Will Southampton hold firm and snatch those vital 3 points? Or will Fulham's attacking flair be too much for them to handle? Let's break it down, because this game is about far more than just who scores first or who has the better players. It's about who can take control of this game, dictate the pace, and impose their style. And let's not forget, this is a momentum-shifting match, especially for both teams, as they fight to either stay out of the relegation zone or build momentum for an unexpected run up the table. 1. The Battle of Styles. Southampton's defense versus Fulham's attack. First things first, let's take a deep dive into what makes each team tick. Southampton, over the years, have built their identity on a solid defensive setup, but let's be honest, this season they've looked vulnerable at times. Yes, they're hard to break down, and they'll do everything they can to keep things tight in the middle of the park. But can they sustain that for 90 minutes when Fulham comes at them with pace? Let's face it, Fulham have been one of the more surprising teams this season. They've made a name for themselves with their aggressive and fast-paced counterattacks. And who's the man to watch when it comes to those tactics? Alexander Mitrovic. The guy has been a nightmare for any defense that's tried to stop him. He's big, he's strong, and he's clinical in the air and on the ground. If Fulham can get the ball to him, whether it's off a quick counter or a set piece, the danger is always there. Now, back to Southampton. They know that their best shot against Fulham will be to limit those counters and keep it tight in the back. If Fulham manages to hit them on the break, we could see the Saints' defense crumble under pressure. But if Southampton keeps their shape, slows the game down, and makes it hard for Fulham to build up their rhythm, then Southampton has a serious chance of taking control. It's a chess match, Southampton's defense trying to outthink Fulham's attack. But who's going to win? 2. Key players and tactical adjustments. Let's zoom in on the key players, because this is where things get really interesting. For Southampton, there's one name that stands above the rest: James Ward-Prowse. If you've been paying attention, you know that his ability from set pieces can change the entire course of a game. A free kick from 30 yards out? Don't bet against him. If Southampton are going to get anything from this game, it's going to be through his creativity and deadly delivery. Whether it's an early free kick or a late match-winning ball into the box, Ward-Prowse will be the one to watch. But let's not forget about the heart and soul of Fulham Mitrovic. The guy is a monster in the air. He's tough to contain in the box, and when he's on form, he can turn a simple cross into a goal out of nowhere. But here's the thing. Mitrovic is dangerous when he's involved in the play, when he gets those chances. So Southampton's defenders, whether it's their central back pairing or their fullbacks, need to be on high alert every second Mitrovic is near the ball. And if Fulham can get Mitrovic the right service, well, that's a recipe for disaster for Southampton. So here's a question for you. Will Southampton's defenders get the better of Mitrovic, or will he rise to the occasion and make it all about him? 3. The midfield battle and how it will shape the game. Midfield. This is where the game could be won or lost. Southampton will look to dominate possession early, control the tempo, and break the game up when Fulham tries to play it forward quickly. Fulham, on the other hand, they'll be looking to press high, get the ball into Mitrovic, and make things happen quickly. Now, Southampton's midfield has been solid, but it hasn't been explosive. It's been all about discipline, all about staying compact. But when they face a team like Fulham with their attacking runners and creative players, they will need to be at their sharpest. Ward-Prowse will play a crucial role here, not just in set pieces, but in controlling the flow of the game. Can he dictate things? Or will Fulham's midfielders break the lines and create overloads that make it impossible for Southampton to track their runners? 4. Fulham's weakness. Defensive vulnerabilities. But let's not forget, Fulham has its own set of problems. Sure, their attack is potent, but defensively? They've been a little shaky at times. With Southampton's counter-attacking potential, Fulham will need to keep things tight at the back. If they get too aggressive or too stretched, that's where they'll be vulnerable. A quick break, a long ball over the top, and suddenly, Fulham could be chasing the game. Can they handle the pressure? Or will they crack under the weight of a well-executed Southampton counter? This is where we come full circle. Southampton will want to keep things tight, slow the game down, and hit Fulham when they're not expecting it. But Fulham? They'll be looking to push, to attack, and to capitalize on any mistake Southampton makes. The tactical chess match between these two teams is shaping up to be a battle of patience versus urgency. 5. The stakes and what's on the line. But there's something else at stake here, beyond just 3 points. This game is massive in terms of momentum. A win here for Southampton could give them the boost they need to push further up the table, even if they're not completely out of danger yet. For Fulham, a victory here could solidify their place in the middle of the table, proving they're more than just a flash-in-the-pan team. They're here to stay, to challenge for something bigger. In a season where every point matters, every match feels like it's a turning point, the implications of this game go far beyond the final whistle. What will the players be thinking as they step onto the pitch? What's going through their heads when the ball starts rolling? Southampton knows they can't afford any more slip-ups, and Fulham knows they need to keep their form consistent. This match could define their futures. And when the dust settles, only one team will have that crucial advantage.